Hello, welcome back to Erica's Welsh Garden. Today we are again back in the polytunnel, and the reason being, as hard as it is to believe right now with the sun out, it has been on and off torrential rain all morning, so I decided to just get on in here and get on with some bits and pieces. And this morning you can see here that I have edged the central bed in my allotment. Now it's only temporary edging, so it will hold in the new compost that I've put down this morning. I've put 100 litres of a peat-free compost in the middle just to raise the level up, because when I made the bed last week I put cardboard down and then probably around, you know, ½ an inch of homemade compost along the top. So unfortunately, if I'm say to plant straight into that, it's probably not going to help the roots of any of my plants very well hitting onto that cardboard that's only a couple of weeks old underneath there. So I've brought the level up probably by around about 2 inches, and we're going to be direct sowing some seeds today. The seeds that I'm going to be direct sowing today are some beetroot. This one is called Cylindra. Then I have some carrots, which are early nance too. And then I have some radish, and these are called French breakfast 4. Now the really good thing about growing radishes with the carrots and the beetroot is because the radish grows and matures much faster than the two other crops. So if I put the radishes in between the carrots and the beetroot, that will mean that as soon as those radishes are ready to harvest, it will then give the space that is required to both the beetroot and the carrots to finish maturing. So it's a really good use of space. As well as direct sowing all of those seeds, I'm also going to be putting in 2 rows of my onion seedlings. Now these are my Boxing Day sown onions, and as you can see, they are desperate to get in the ground now. So I'm going to be putting 2 rows of the onions in, and 1 at either side of the bed, and that will hopefully deter the carrot root fly as well, because the carrot root fly identifies carrots by the smell. So if I grow these onions either edge and maybe even at the very end of the bed, that will confuse the carrot root fly and they won't be able to find the carrots. The first thing that I'm going to do before I sow any seeds is to actually mark out my rows, because if I just kind of sow a row at a time, I might realise that I've not given something the right amount of space to thrive, and then I've sown all the seeds. It's going to be a bit of a mess. So it's definitely worth just taking a little bit of time to get everything marked out so you know everything is going to thrive really nicely. Just in case you're wondering as well, the beds here have been edged, but this is just like a temporary thing, and as the kind of soil amalgamates with the top soil below, I will then get these removed. I saw this on Charles Dowding's video that he did, and this is how he creates all of his new no-dig beds, because when you put compost down on the soil over the next season, it will continue to break down even more. So possibly kind of in the autumn this will be removed. Okay, I think I have done it. I've got a row in the middle here, a row here and a row here, and then the same one here and one here on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead now and start sort of sowing. I quite like using a bamboo cane when I sow my seeds, because I'm absolutely rubbish at doing anything in a straight line. So if you've got your bamboo cane there, it means that you can just really easily go ahead and kind of follow that line. That's the last of the rows done now. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my onions in. Now with onions, they've got really strong roots, so I'm not too worried about getting these split up and put in here, because they'll establish really quickly. I did a quick kind of estimation, and I think I can get about maybe 12 to 15 along here, and I think I'm going to put 1 at the end of each of the rows there, and then another row down here. You can see the roots on here are pretty fibrous, and like I said, I find they're really easy to separate. and they're usually quite happy like that to be manhandled and established very quickly. Before I put them in though, I'm going to just spread them out along here so I can make sure that I've got the spacing right just before I put them all in. I'm pretty happy with the spacing of the onions along here, but I have just noticed there's quite a small onion there, so I'm going to replace it with a slightly kind of stronger looking one, just so I've got the best chance that I'll be able to get a nicer harvest. When it comes to actually kind of transplanting them, again, the roots really are so strong, so you can be quite kind of rough with them and they will kind of just get their roots established again pretty quickly. I really like growing all of my onions in big clumps like this, but what you can actually do as well, which would work quite well here, is just like multi-sow, maybe kind of 3 or 4 seeds in each module, and then grow them together like that, and you can kind of just harvest little clumps of smaller onions. Another thing you can actually do is trim the roots if you want to as well, but I never bother. I just kind of just push them in, and then they usually seem to do quite well. So that is the onions done. So the next crop I'm going to be putting in is the carrots, and I'm going to put the row here. These are early Nance, and the only reason I'm sowing these are that they came free with a magazine. You get about 2,000 seeds in this packet as well, and one thing I do quite a lot is sow them really kind of thickly, so I'm going to try today just to make sure I do quite a thin row. I've got my carrot seeds here, and as you can see I've probably already got too many in my hand, so I'll just try and be really light. Another thing I would recommend if you are going to be direct sowing seeds is to make sure you give your bed a really good water before you start sowing the seeds, because it means then that you can just cover them and know that that seed should be in pretty good damp soil. The next seeds to go in the middle row are going to be the radish, and you never know, you know, these might grow so quickly that I can actually do another crop in the middle of radish again, or something else. So here are the radish seeds, and as you can see they're a little bit bigger and they look like a cabbage seed or a kind of general brassica seed. There's about 200 in this pack, so we'll see how we do. You can do these a little bit more thickly, and you can harvest the leaves and use them as like a salad crop as well. Also, another thing that some people do with their radishes is that they grow these in exactly the same row as their carrots or with their parsnips and things, but I've never really done that before, so I think I'm going to err on the safe side this year and just do them in a separate row on their own. And I've even got some left over, so I'm not going to go mad and put them all in just in case they all germinate, but there is more there for going into other places. The next ones for this row here are the Beetroot Cylindra. Really like growing these. They grow really big, but also they cost 25p a packet, so you really can't go wrong if you are going to be buying your seeds. This is the beetroot seed here, and as you can see they're quite knobbly, and each one of those seeds actually has about 3 or 4 seeds in, so it's kind of like a cluster of seeds. So you do need to make sure that you are quite kind of you know, you do spread these out slightly kind of better than you would, because you can end up having loads of clumps of seeds. And if you grow these really close together, that's absolutely fine, but you're not going to get a really big harvest. But again, with the leaves, you can actually harvest these as well, so you don't have to worry kind of too much if you get loads of them. You can just harvest the baby ones and put those with your salad. So now I've sown them all, I'm just going to kind of gently cover all of the seeds. I'm pretty happy with the spacing. Quite often I do them really close together, and then sometimes I don't think they do as well, especially like with my carrots up at the polytunnel. They are just so round packed in there, and I'm just rubbish at thinning them out. They're all covered over now. I'm just going to give it a little pat down just to make sure that seed has really good contact with that moist compost. And then just to be on the safe side and help these onions kind of establish, I'm going to give it another water. I am so pleased now that I've got my first bed in the polytunnel direct sown for this year. I really found that direct sowing in my allotment polytunnel worked so well last autumn. In the raised bed I did some onions and some carrots. They all germinated really well, and the carrots in pots also germinated really well. So hopefully I'm going to be really lucky with this and this will do well. I've put in 26 onions in there as well, so fingers crossed. They're pretty well spaced out, they grow pretty big, but I've still got absolutely hundreds of these onions to go in. So I think I'm going to be dotting onions around all over the place, and I'm really hoping this week, later in the week, that I'm going to be able to do some really good work down at the allotment. Hardly anything's happened there this year because the weather's just been absolutely atrocious. But when I say hardly anything's happened, I've done a lot of kind of infrastructure work, but I've not planted anything out. So that's why I'm feeling that I'm a little bit behind. But hopefully you'll be seeing some more videos from down at the allotment a little bit sooner. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video today, and if this is the first time you're watching me, please do hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of all of my latest videos. As ever, YouTube has some videos up now on the screen that they think you'll like, so please go ahead and watch those, and I'll catch up with you in the next episode. Bye!